Hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Sometimes I feel like I'm just so just on a different planet than other people in tennis. I'm out here working on my game right now. I've got a really big match in 2 days, and I'm hitting backhands. I've made good progress just this week. And when I publish videos on my main channel, like the one yesterday, where I had that chunk of backhands where they were just terrible. I lost the feeling. I just didn't have it. I was just missing every ball. And I was kind of like apologizing to Mike because it kind of turned him into like a ball machine to just kind of feed me, just help me like find my rhythm again, find my timing again, find the feel again. The last couple of training videos on the Essential Tennis channel, I've kind of focused on my backhand and its development and how it's frustrating, but it's making good progress, and and then the feedback. I feel like I'm a crazy person because the feedback below those videos is like, man, if you just scroll the comments below the video that we uploaded yesterday, where I had that pocket where I totally lost the feel of it, it's like 60 or 70% of the comments below that video are people convinced that they have like the answer and they can fix, like, that they know like what I need to do. And if we were to make a chart, they would probably mostly all be different and talking about different things, but everybody's convinced that they could like just tell me this one insight, and all of a sudden the switch would just like flip, and all of a sudden I'd have a great backhand. I have a remote training session coming up with a really well-known online coach who sent me like a very heartfelt, convincing email a couple days ago saying, Ian, everybody's been overlooking something. Like, I have the answer, like, for your backhand. And I don't want to sound like I'm not like appreciative. Most people are like, they mean well, like they're trying to help, and like I'm showing, frustration on the court. And maybe I need to balance that out more with like optimism, because yesterday, after seeing all the feedback that was coming in from everybody with the solutions on how to fix my backhand, I went back and I looked through the last like year and a half, 2 years of videos, and the development of my backhand has been huge. I'm going to make a video about this soon, and you have to keep in mind that there were 25 years of bad habits coming into the last year and a half. That is a critical piece of information that has to be acknowledged and has to be understood. The changes I've made in the last year and a half have been working against the headwind of my old backhand habits. Like, that's the hardest part about the whole equation. And so when I scan through and I look at my early training and I look at my matches I played like a year and a half ago, you gotta understand that before I started working on my backhand a year and a half ago, the matches that I played a match against Scott from Player Court. I played a match against Kevin Garlington, and I didn't drive any backhands, none. And for 25 years, that was how I played tennis. And people, and I don't blame them. Like, I'm not always like talking about myself and like my story and my backstory. But you gotta understand, for 25 years, that's how I played tennis. I didn't hit topspin backhands. I didn't have a topspin backhand for 25 years. And so watching my progression, I watched a little bit of my match against Ira. Didn't drive any backhands. That was after I started working on it, but I just didn't have the feel for it at all yet. In competition, I could do it like dropping a ball, but not in match play. It wasn't even close. Against Topher, before I got hurt, I drove maybe like a half a dozen, and that was like the first time I've ever driven a backhand in a like stressed match environment like that, with a little bit of topspin, and then just on, and there was like little step, from Ira, no backhands, to Topher, a couple backhands, and I'm forgetting kind of other pieces of the timeline, but when you look at the training session we just uploaded yesterday with Mike, we're playing baseline games, and I'm hitting like actual backhands. They don't look perfect, like of course, but the fact that I'm even hitting them is unbelievable. When I look back over the timeline of the rest of my career and the rest of my time, my history in tennis, the fact that against Mike, who, of course, he's trying to help me out, he's trying to give me, just the right pace, but stronger pace than, against Topher, who a year and a half ago, I only hit a couple backhands, and now I'm sticking with the drive often in training points. And now on Saturday, I have a rematch against Adam. Heavy topspin, like moonballer. And so what I've been practicing with the ball machine is switching back and forth between forehand, backhand, ground strokes, and hitting topspin on both sides. That's been my focus this whole week. And I'm hoping to, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'm hoping to hit mostly, dry backhands would be great on Saturday. But if I end up slicing, that's fine. It's okay. Like, it's a process. And I feel like that's where I feel like I'm a crazy person. Like, everybody else is like watching video to video, and the attitude in the comments seems to be, why haven't you fixed it yet? Like, you have these problems, Ian, like, and you're out there practicing. Why do you still have problems? Like, I told you about it in the comments like a month ago. How come you haven't fixed it yet? And I feel like I'm the only person sometimes that sees the big picture and sees how big of a project this is and how big of an undertaking this is to change an old habit like that, and with finite time and like finite energy, and I've got 2 kids and a wife, and I'm taking care of my family, and I'm running a business, and trying to fix my backhand too. And like the lack of patience from the general viewing, from the general viewership, seems crazy to me. But on the other, I get it. I guess on the other hand, like if I put myself in their shoes, most tennis coaching, most tennis lessons is very short-term mindset, and there's nobody's taking on a year-long project or 2-year-long project. But on the other hand, I feel like hardly anybody believes that it should be a year-long project to change a backhand. But it is, okay? It is. Changing deep habits like that, it is that big of a project. And man, it's, for me to look at my before and after, I'm really proud of the work I've done, but then reading the friction and the comments just makes me, it's hard for me to figure out how to process it. Like, part of me wants to publish a video that's like, hey, listen, like defending myself, right? Like, I'm trying my hardest, and this is the way it works, and you don't get it. Like, if you think I should have a perfect backhand by now, then you just don't understand what I'm doing. But then the teacher, part of me wants to use it as a learning, of course, as a teachable moment, And that's the path I'm going to take in the Essential Tennis video, is like, here's my timeline. If you're not familiar, like, here's where I started, here's the steps that I've made, here's where I am now, and looking forwards, like, I'm really confident in the direction I'm moving. Anyway, I'm just hitting it right now and hitting some shots I really feel good about, and with the comments in mind from yesterday, sometimes it feels like I'm taking crazy pills. And I just wanted to share that a little bit. Thanks for watching. Hope you're doing well.